Hey, it's Kurt again with LifterLMS. And in this lesson, I want to take you to a whole other level in working with your students and your SCORM material within your WordPress site powered by LifterLMS. Now, typically, SCORM packages would be a series of lessons or modules or chapters. You guys have your own verbiage for that. Interspersed between those may be knowledge checks, and at the end, you may have factored in a test or a final quiz. Now, in your SCORM package, that kind of makes sense for you in your previous platform because everything was built around that SCORM package. And while that website may have worked well for SCORM, it was expensive. And let's just be honest, it probably didn't look all that great either. So if you move forward to a more modern platform like WordPress, where you have ownership and flexibility and more control over your design and the content that surrounds your SCORM material, you can see there's a lot of benefits there. But you still might have content in your SCORM package that's going to create triggers that you want to see go to reporting. Things like grades and completions and things like that. Well, hint, hint, coming up in one of our bonus sections is going to be where we talk about learning record stores and how you can connect your website to a learning record store that will sync that type of reporting from your SCORM package to your LifterLMS reporting, so that your reporting is all in one place, right there in your website for you. But in this lesson, I wanted to show you my idea for a SCORM hybrid solution that would allow you to play the SCORM content just as we've shown you in this course so far, but then strip out the knowledge checks and the tests and the quizzes and actually use LifterLMS's native quiz system. Now, quizzes comes with the core package of LifterLMS, but we also have advanced quizzes, which gives us a whole different range of question types. And in my demo site over here, I've got advanced quizzes. So I'm going to jump in there with you real quick, and I'm going to show you what it is that I'm talking about. So here we are. We're in our demo site. I'm going to open up the administrator's dashboard. We're going to go to a course, and let's say we're going to go to one of the courses that has things broken into lessons because it just kind of seems to make more sense that way. So I'll use the one that has golf in it. SCORM course lesson examples for golf. And I'm going to go directly to the builder. Okay. And this will give you an opportunity now to see what this native course builder actually looks like and what it does. So this allows me to put my syllabus or my curriculum directly into the site without having to build this in some other course authoring tool, right? And so here we have the section, and then we have the lessons, the way I broke them out for the sample. So if you remember earlier in that other lesson, we had the lightbox with the lesson with the link. We had the lightbox with the button. We had the embedded lesson, the combined, 3 different lessons, 3 different SCORM packages in one lesson. And then we had the new window lesson. Let me show you how easy this is. Let's say that we have our SCORM packages and they just have the learning material. So we've got, those awesome graphics, those transitions, the animations, the interactivities, the choose your own path, all that stuff stays intact in your SCORM package. So the learning material is what you wanted it to be. But now you want to have a way that you can do a knowledge check without having to use a third-party tool like a learning record store to kind of make that connection and sync the reporting. So if you wanted to do that, you would go right here and you would say, add a new section. And you'll notice I just added a section right here. And let's say I come down here and I say test, right? Maybe you don't want to make it a test. Maybe you just want to make it a little less intimidating and say knowledge check. Knowledge check. There we go. And so I hit enter there, and that establishes that new section. Well, you'll see this is highlighted, right? So this is where we're working now. And I want to add a new lesson. Boom, new lesson, just like that. And right here, I'm going to say final knowledge check. Let me put it up here. Final knowledge check. There we go. Okay, so now you'll notice I changed the title up here on the upper right, and now we've got it changed down here. And this is the settings for the lesson, not the edit screen where we can build content necessarily, but this is the edit. This is where we, build the lesson. So if we had a featured video we wanted to put in this lesson, we would put it right here with that. If we had a featured audio file that we wanted to put into the lesson, we would put it right here. But remember, what we were going to do here was we were going to put in a quiz. So now we say create new quiz. And you can see right down here, we have a description for the quiz. So I could say, this is your final knowledge check. Okay. And then just to kind of show you what you can do with the power of the pages here, we're going to add in that SCORM image and we're going to put that right into that page for you, right? Passing percentage, 65%. So do I want people to get a 65? Do I want people to get an 85? Do I want people to get 100 in order to pass? You are in total control of how this works. I'm going to change it to 50%. Do I want to limit the attempts that somebody has? Default is 5, but you can change that to any number that you want. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Do I want to give my learners a time limit? Do I want to say, hey, you have only got 20 minutes to get this question right? I could do that and I could limit that time. Okay. Do we want to show correct answers? So if they get the answer right or wrong, do we want to acknowledge that and give them a correction? We can do that. Do we randomize the question order, and do we want to disable the retake of a quiz? Okay. Question banks is kind of cool. For each course, you're you're able to create a question bank for each of these lessons. So let's say you've got a high volume of questions. You've got 100 questions, but you only want people to take 25 or 50 of those questions at a time. You could completely randomize the question choice out of the 100 and just activate the question bank. So you could go right here, say question bank, how many questions? Well, there's only one so far. And then what number of questions per type. So remember I said there was different question types. So you could say, well, I want 3 questions that are multiple choice. I want 3 questions that are fill in the blank. I want 2 questions that are true or false. And provided you've got those questions available, it's going to serve the student those questions in a random order out of the question bank. So I'm going to go ahead and then close that down. And now we want to add a question. So if I click here to add a question, basic quizzing gives us multiple choice, picture choice, and true or false. But because we've got advanced quizzes on this platform, we have all these extra questions available. Do we want them to fill in a scale? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about blah, blah, blah? That's a scale. Do we want them to upload a file? Do we want them to reorder pictures, reorder items? Do we want a long answer? Do we want a short answer? What is it that we want them to do? I'm going to go ahead and select multiple choice. And right here, I'm going to answer my question. I'm going to say, is SCORM super cool? Okay, so that's my question. The first choice is heck yes. And the second answer is not really. Okay. Now, notice here when I click, I can change that green button to be on whichever answer I want it to be. So the green one is how I indicate to the system which answer is the correct answer. Okay. And so now we've got that question in place, and I am going to say published, because right here we have published and unpublished. That's one of the things some people miss. I'm going to go back to the lesson. You'll notice over here, we've got lesson settings, but you'll also notice right here, edit quiz is highlighted. You'll notice these are grayed out. These don't have quizzes. This does have a quiz. Okay, so we know that we have our quiz in place. So let's go ahead and exit this. And let's go take a look at this course. We're going to preview this. We're going to go to that tab. We just added the knowledge check and the final knowledge check. When I open this up, this is what your student's going to see. They're going to see a sign that says take the quiz. And when they click that button, it's going to open up. Now, remember I said you could put any directions or comments that you wanted to, and that's where those show up. I could put in any content that I wanted to, and you'll see that's where that SCORM image shows up that we put in. And then at the bottom, it says start the quiz. Now, the other things that we set in the quiz are here. Minimum passing grade is 50%, unlimited attempts, and there's only one question. So the student knows what they're getting into as they jump into the quiz. We're going to say start the quiz. Is SCORM super cool? Heck yes. Complete the quiz. And we are good. Correct answers. Select an answer. Man, did I set it up wrong? Let's go back and start the quiz again. Not really. I didn't even notice I picked the wrong answer when I set up the quiz. Okay, so that is kind of funny, but that is something to give yourself attention to. Make sure that you select the right answers when you're setting up your quiz, because if you get it wrong for one person, it's wrong for everybody. So in this case, we got 100%, but this gives you an idea of what your student experience is. So here's another cool part. We took multiple attempts, right? So view previous attempts. Here's my attempts right here. This shows a fail, and this one shows pass. So these results will stay available for your student to see. Not only that, let me go back to the dashboard and make sure that I'm still sharing the same tab. We are. And I'm going to go to LifterLMS reporting. All right. And we've got a bunch of samples in here, but we've got students, courses, memberships, assignments, quizzes, sales. So I could go right to quizzes if I wanted to see what I was working on right there. Final knowledge check quiz, final knowledge check quiz, total attempts 2, average grade 50%. So that's right there. Okay. And if we wanted to open that up, we could open that up and we could say, here we go. Here's the attempts. Who were the attempts? Emily Thompson. That's who I am in this sample website, by the way. So we've got attempt number 2, attempt number 1, 100%, 0%, when it was done, the end date. If we wanted to go the other direction and look at Emily Thompson, we could go to students and we could do a quick search over here for Emily. Here's Emily Thompson. And when we pull Emily Thompson up, we're able to see kind of an overall here, her recent events that she's done inside the website, different courses that she's a member of. So all of these different courses are in here. Okay. Memberships, if she's a member in any memberships, achievements, and certificates, because our system does give out certificates and has an engagement system to send those automatically. So as you can see, if you take the hybrid solution and you put SCORM in as your learning content, but then you use LifterLMS for your knowledge checks, it's like everything stays inside the website and it makes things really, really clean, both for the student and for the instructors and for the administrators in your organization. Because if the learning's being done in LifterLMS and the reporting's being done in LifterLMS, that just seems to find alignment for a lot of people. Remember, in our bonus sections soon to come, you will see us talking about what we call a learning record store. And that is using a third-party connection to basically grade the SCORM content from the SCORM pack, and then take those activities and feed them back, sync them back to LifterLMS reporting. So you would still see the reporting in LifterLMS, but you'd be using a third-party tool to connect the SCORM to the reporting. All right. I hope that clears things up, and we'll see you in another lesson. Bye-bye.